Happy Friday. Welcome, guys. My name is DK, and in this video, I'm breaking down the 10-game DFS slate on Draftkings. This is your first time watching. I'll cover content for DFS and for prize picks, underdog, parlay play, all those prop sites. The sponsor of today's video, that is going to be Parlay Play. Guys, they're currently running a promotion where you can get a $100 deposit match bonus if you click the link down below and deposit. But if you're unfamiliar, you're basically building out slips of player props with Parlay Play. They do have alternate lines or alt lines as well. And these are all the sports that they offer. Ton of different sports. So if you guys do want to give it a try, again, click that link down below. Would give you a $100 deposit match bonus. If you do, click the link and deposit. It really does help support the channel, so greatly appreciate that. And if you are looking for more content, you can check my Patreon linked in the description. Okay, so let's recap tonight. So what's going on right now, I think I have a chance to cash. We'll see, thanks to unowned Kevin Love going for 40. Don't ask me how I knew, because I have no idea how I knew about Kevin Love. No idea. Let's talk about a couple things. My first time playing Luka Doncic in what feels like months, and he had 1 point and or he had 1 rebound and 1 assist at the end of the first quarter. I'm looking at it, I'm like, come on, man. Come on. Gafford was way higher owned in high stakes by the Sharks. He was much lower owned in the low stakes. Massive foul trouble to punish him, to punish myself and the other Sharks. Whitmore was someone I thought was going over owned, but since I was already playing a couple lower owned pieces in Paul George and in Kevin Love, I felt it was fine just playing him. I ended up getting there in the second half. He was awful in the first half. Jalen Johnson shot like 2% from the field, still salvaged. Trey Lyles is okay for value, but yeah, it's going to be a pretty low-scoring slate. A lot of busts, so I think if Paul George and Reggie Jackson have decent games here, I'll have a chance. I ended up swapping from Norm Powell to Reggie Jackson, so that'll probably come back to bite me. Norm Powell, lock him in for a career game off the bench, most likely. Yeah, so that's the recap there. Did my straight bet props went well. Nuked Jalen Johnson assist once again. They had it set at 3.5. Wild, especially from the potential that he had last game. And then I also took Jalen Green over 4.5 assists. That easily cashed. Prize picks, not so much. Ran like a Hawks Mav stack. And once I saw prize picks discounts were 2 Hawks, I knew it was over. Okay, let's get right into it, guys. Portland, Washington's the first game here. This game is very appealing for DFS purposes. Same guys that bet are still out for Portland. Grant is doubtful. Ibu, Baji, and Minai are questionable, but not super important. I'm expecting Portland to run the same rotation they've been running of giving their main guys a ton of run. It's a great spot, so I think Ayton looks really good at 8K. He should play high 30s minutes, 36 and 37 minutes over the last couple of games. Should be able to dominate against this Wizards front court. He looks good. Scoot Henderson and Delano Banton, I think, are both good options. 35 and 37 minutes over the last couple of games for Scoot. Banton will come off the bench and play big minutes. Ownership will play a role in what I do with these two guards. Like in the Millie Maker, when I played it a couple weeks ago, everyone wanted Scoot, no one wanted Banton. I ended up playing Banton. Last night, everyone played Banton, no one played Scoot. I ended up playing Banton too. If I had gone Scoot, it would have been a great night. So ownership's going to play a role with what I do with these two Portland guards there, Scoot and Banton. Like if one's getting a lot more ownership than the other, I'm definitely going to prefer the lower owned option. And then Jabari Walker, I played him last night at low ownership. He absolutely smashed. I talked about in the Patreon stream. That was one of the edges that I saw. I just thought a lot of sites were under projecting his minutes. They were projecting him for like 32 to 33 minutes. I was like, I think he's going to play close to 40 again. He played 42 minutes, almost a 50 bomb. And he shot 4 of 17. So I'm pretty high on Jabari Walker. I think Chris Murray's reasonable as well. He should play low to mid 30s minutes or so. So good amount to like him for Portland. Don't really know if I get to anyone else. I mean, Ryan Rupert is going to play a lot of minutes. He's probably not going to do a ton with them. I think there's going to be better value on this slate. We'll talk about it with Memphis in a bit than a guy like Ryan Rupert. But the main guys, Ayton, the two guards, Jabari Walker, I think are all really good options. Then for Washington, they are shorthanded. It could be extremely shorthanded if Denny and Rashawn Holmes are out. Again, this is late season NBA at its finest. Love me some late season NBA. And then Johnny Davis is also questionable. So if Davis, Holmes, and Denny are out, let's see. Poole 1, Kispert 2, Butler 3, Vukcevic 4, Shampenny 5, Baldwin 6, Gill 7, Amoria 8. I think they'd have 9 guys if all those questionable players are out. My guess for the starting lineup of those guys are out would be like Poole, Kispert, Shampenny, Baldwin, Vukcevic. That'd be my guess. Or like maybe Gill's in there instead of one of those other guys. But Yeah, so keep an eye on the news, but Poole, either way, I think is really going to play at 7-4. And if Denny gets rolled out too, I mean, he's going to have to do everything for the team in a great spot. So I like Poole either way, but he looks better if Denny gets rolled out. Corey Kispert, reasonable at 5.9. Should play massive minutes, 40, 38, 41, 38, and 35 minutes over the last 5 games. He's firmly in play. And then the value just depends on the status of Denny and Rashawn Holmes, right? Like if Vukcevic starts again, I like him. Good point per minute guy. Butler, good point per minute, probably comes on the bench. I like him at 4.2, played 20 minutes last game. Guys like Champagnie, Baldwin, Gill, these guys are going to look a lot better if both Denny and Holmes are out. So we'll keep an eye on it, but Washington's another team that I do like. Oklahoma City and the Pacers. Can SGA just come back, man? I'm so tired of this team and Mark Daigneault. I'm so tired of him. I don't want to play. I'm probably not going to, but I've been just so tired of playing guys and then playing like 25 minutes in competitive games, right? I've already talked about this a bunch with Gideon and like Giddey played 28 minutes here in a competitive game without SGA and Jalen Williams. Chet in that game played 20 like sub 30 minutes, but with SGA there, Chet's playing low to mid 30s minutes, and it's just so dumb, man. Just be a normal coach, and when you have 2 main guys out, you give your other main guys more minutes, right? You don't play them less. That's not what you do, man. But yeah, Giddey and Chet, I mean, it comes down to, do you think Daigneault is a loser or not? If you think he's not a loser, and they're actually to play normal minutes, then fire up Giddey and Chet in a great spot against the Pacers with the team to themselves. If you think Daigneault's continuing to be a loser like he has been, then you don't play him. Really just as simple as that. Do you think Mark Daigneault will be a loser or not? That is the question you have to ask yourself. And then the value plays, I mean, who knows, man? Ownership will play a role with like this group of Dort, Wiggins, Cason Wallace, Joe, the big Jalen Williams. All of a sudden, it's just Nikola Jokic for absolutely no reason a couple games ago, 12 assists. Gordon Hayward, Kendrick, like throw this group of value. I don't know what's going to happen to the minutes. If one guy's getting a lot more ownership than the other, or one of these guys ends up being very popular, I'm going to end up fading. I have no confidence in the minutes for that group that I just mentioned. So there's your Oklahoma City breakdown. Comes down to, again, will Mark Daigneault be a loser or not? All right, Pacers, Miles Turner is the only piece of news we need. That is pretty important because if he's out, Jalen Smith becomes a solid play. Played 22 minutes last game. You would get Isaiah Jackson playing the backup 5 at 4.1, good point per minute. They didn't get the full 48, but they got most of it. So those two would be solid values. Halliburton, I think, is fine at the top. Not really a ton else that stands out, though, for me for the Pacers. So move on to Orlando and Charlotte. Pretty easy to talk about. The Magic, they're just boring. I mean, they're in a good spot. If you want to target any of the main guys, sure. No one really standing out to me when this team is fully healthy. For Charlotte, I mean, they have a lot of guys listed as probable. Again, watch Miller come back and play 40 minutes tomorrow after with half the team out, he played 30 minutes for no reason. But 40 minutes here, again, it's just so... that's the stuff that really just gets me for when coaches do dumb stuff like that. So the only guy that actually is questionable is Nick Richards. Keep an eye on if he misses. You should get Grant Williams starting at the 5, but Grant Williams' price is up. I don't know. Awful spot here. Most of these guys are back. Not a ton that I like. Sacramento, Boston. So a little bit of blowout risk here for the Kings playing on the road in Boston. Again, Herter out for the season. Monk out for a while. I think Sabonis and Fox are reasonable plays. GPP plays 10-4 for Sabonis, 9-1 for Fox. Again, Mike Brown said a few days ago that they were going to play those 2 more minutes. Keegan Murray feels priced about right. I'm not going to get to Barnes or Ellis at their price points. Last guy I'll mention is Trey Lyles at 4K. He played almost 30 minutes or around 30 minutes tonight. If he plays similar minutes, definitely have some interest in him. For Boston, well, you got Jaylen Brown questionable. Derek White questionable. If they're both in, there's really not much here. If they're both out, then we can start looking to Porzingis and Tatum. Drew would look better. We'd start if both are out. We'll start looking to guys like Pritchard and Hauser as well. Porzingis is a guy that would probably be my preferred option either way. I just think sites have been under projecting him as well. Again, there's been a ton of blowouts, but I like him either way. He would be my favorite Celtic either way. But if Brown and White get rolled out, he's going to look better. All right, Detroit and Memphis. No Cade, no Fettuccine Alfredo. Can we talk about what happened, what occurred last night for the Detroit Pistons? If you guys didn't know, well, let me fill you in. Malachi Flynn off the bench. 50 real-life points for Malachi Flynn and a 70 bomb on DraftKings. Just let that kind of settle in your really think about that. I really want you guys to think about that. Malachi Flynn, a 50 bomb. I was literally looking at it last night. I could not believe my eyes. I was wiping my eyes. I was like, did someone drug me? Like, what incarnation? What incarnation? A Malachi Flynn 50 bomb. But yeah, with Cade out, should get Sasser starting. Sasser, Ivy backcourt. Sasser 5.1, Ivy 6.4. I think both are fine tournament plays. Ivy shot 3 of 15 and got benched last game. Duren, again, him and Ivy get a bump in usage bump without Cade, but the minutes are still about not been amazing. We only played 28 last time out, which is a bit concerning. Malachi Flynn obviously is playable, but you can't expect anywhere close to what he did last game. The other thing is, like, Malachi Flynn actually is a good point per minute player. But yeah, last game's a complete outlier. Chimezi met 244. I think is interesting. It's been playing high 20s minutes as a value play, but I think there's going to be better options for Memphis, which we'll talk about here in a second. And they did side Jalen Noel. I think he could see some minutes, which would just kind of make the rotation a bit riskier there for a lot of Detroit. Now, Memphis, this unfortunately, and I mean unfortunately, is my favorite team to target. There, I said it. The Memphis Grizzlies. No Triple J, no Bane, no Vince Williams, no Aldama, no Smart, no Conchar, no Blake, no Brandon Clark, no Zaire Williams, no Watanabe, no Rose, no Jagoat, Kennard doubtful. That leaves 8. Gigi Jackson 1, Scottie Pippen 2, Goodwin 3, LaRavia 4, Lamar Stevens 5, Jemison 6, this made-up guy 7, and Xavier Simpson, the Michigan product 8. Giroux, they did not sign him to another 10-day contract. Free agent. That leaves 8 guys for Memphis. 8-man rotation against the Pistons. No one's super expensive. I mean, I find it really hard to get away from this team. My guess for the starting lineup is they start both point guards in the backcourt, that being Pippen and Goodwin. So I think they go Pippen, Goodwin, LaRavia, Gigi Jackson, and Trey Jemison as the starting 5. That's the case. I mean, it's just a ton to like for Memphis. Absolutely love Gigi Jackson. Should be the number 1 on offense. Should play high 30s minutes in a great spot. Pippen and Jordan Goodwin, I think 2 of the best plays in the mid-range. These guys should play, 30-ish minutes, maybe more. Both good point per minute. Really like both. Jake LaRavia, probably going to be second in the team in usage behind Gigi Jackson. He looks amazing. Absolutely love Gigi Jackson, Pippen, Goodwin, LaRavia. I think they're 4 of the best plays of the slate. And there's even more to like. Trey Jemison, 3.2K. I'm excited to play Trey Jemison. I've never been excited to play Trey Jemison in my life. But he's 3.2K. Most likely starting the 5, and most likely playing around 30 minutes. I think he looks amazing for value. And then if that is the starting 5, you still got to like the bench guys. Lamar Stevens, good point per minute. Probably sees mid-20s minutes or so. I think he looks really good. The 2 guys I'm not as excited about would be the last 2, Mazzino Piera, or however you pronounce his name, and Xavier Simpson. But they're going to play minutes, so they're firmly in play too. Like, if you need dart throws, they're viable for sure. So yeah, like I said, Memphis by far my favorite team to target. New York, Chicago, pretty easy to talk about the Knicks. We know what's going to happen. They're going to run their main guys, massive minutes. Hart and McBride basically play the entire game. Brunson and DiVincenzo are going to play close to 40 minutes. You're going to get probably high 20s minutes from Hartenstein. Robinson will play some backup minutes. You'll get probably a few minutes for guys like Achua, Bogdanovich, Burks. There. Looking at the price points, I don't think anyone stands out, but yeah, Hart, DiVincenzo, McBride, Brunson, all safe. Hartenstein was someone I was high on as a contrarian play. Debated him versus Gafford, ended up going to Gafford. Gafford got in random massive foul trouble. Hartenstein absolutely smashed. Again, more proof. There's no one on the planet that runs worse. But yeah, so that's the Knicks. Bulls, very boring. Bad matchup, basically fully healthy. Nothing stands out here. I mean, if you want to take a shot in any of the main Bulls and hope they have an outlier game, be my guest. But they're basically a pass for me. San Antonio. Keldon Johnson questionable. Shetty Goat out. I would just like to say I'm so incredibly happy and not tilted whatsoever about Trey Jones. I was all over Trey Jones against Golden State 2 games ago. Just has a subpar 29 fancy point game. Don't play him against Denver because I'm worried about the blowout. Massive triple-double for Trey Jones. Like I said, it's just what we do in this channel is just more proof. Prove to you guys. More proof. Yeah, Wembanyama's 11K. Obviously, he's firmly in play for tournaments. I don't love the price point on him, but you've seen what he's done the last 3 games. Massive ceiling. So got to have Anderson in Wembanyama. If you think this person can keep it competitive, Trey Jones should be the number 2 on offense. Again, has a high floor with the peripheral stats, so he's obviously playable. But they've been playing their other like value plays a lot of minutes too. Like Branham played 37 minutes. Champagny played 37 minutes. Those guys are both in play. I think I prefer the Memphis value. I'm a little more confident, but these guys are viable. Zach Collins is 4.8K. He'll back up Wembanyama. He'll be productive in the minutes that he plays, but again, not playing enough really for me to consider him. And then Mamukelashvili, I think, is the last guy I would consider. 4K, 24, 25 minutes over the last couple games. Good point per minute. I think he's a solid value play. Don't really think it's necessary to get to like Graham or Wesley or anyone else. Now, New Orleans comes down to Zion. I like this team already in a great spot, but if Zion's out too, this team's been running a super tight rotation. If you take Zion off the court too, I mean, CJ, Murphy become smash plays. You would get probably Marshall or Dyson Daniels in the starting lineup. Whoever would start there would look great if Zion gets rolled out. Basically everyone in this team would look amazing if Zion gets rolled out. If Zion's in, I think it's mainly the top guys, Zion and CJ would look to. Murphy's price is up. Herb Jones feels priced right. The minutes are just not been there on JV no matter what. Keep a close eye on the status of Zion. Toronto, Milwaukee. I mean, you got Barrett back, you got Olynyk back. We don't know about Trent, we don't know about Brown, we don't know about Bocce. If everyone's in, there's really not a ton here. I mean, you can take shots and quickly and Barrett or Olynyk and hope that they play good minutes, but there's really not a ton. Even if Trent and Brown are out, I don't see a ton. A lot of these guys are priced up from when they only played 8 guys last game, so yeah. Milwaukee. You got Giannis, Dame, and Beverly questionables. This team's hard to talk about. If they're all in, nothing stands out. If they're all out, then I think Middleton and Portis look like 2 of the better plays in the mid-range. Be Bobby Portis season. Pat Connaughton would probably start at the point. He started the point last game and played 35 minutes. He would be in play for value. Crowder, Beasley would be playable. So there could be a good amount to like here from Milwaukee, but it just depends on the status of those questionable players. Miami, you got Hero still out. I think everyone else will be available unless they set someone on a back-to-back. If everyone's in, there's really just not much here for Miami. I think there's just better spend up on other teams. So probably a pass here for Miami. Again, I played Kevin Love tonight because there wasn't a ton of value. He went absolutely crazy, but don't think it's necessary to go to him tomorrow. For Houston, they laid an egg tonight. Awful matchup. Guys, price points are up. There's not much here either. Cam Whitmore's pretty popular as a value play, but again, there's just no way I'm playing him over like the Memphis value or Washington value or Portland, some of the Portland guys. There's just no way. Golden State, Dallas, the final game here. So, Golden State, I mean, what? Why are the questionable tags not showing up for the Dallas side? It's just Dallas on Draftkings. Whoever plays Dallas, like the questionable tags or out tags don't show up. But keep an eye on Kuminga. If he misses, you should get Jackson Davis in the starting lineup. I don't think anyone stands out point per dollar, but Steph in play for tournaments. The group of Draymond, Jackson Davis, Wiggins, Clay, all playable. But again, like no must for me. For Dallas, so again, Lively is out. I think Luka is obviously in play at the top. He'll probably go for 90 fancy points since I most likely won't play him tomorrow. Gafford got massive foul trouble, so again, can't wait for him to go for a career game tomorrow as well. But yeah, not a ton else other than like Luka and Gafford for me. PJ is fine, but I don't really know if it's necessary to go to him on this slate. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for the video. As always, if you do enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Might get a prize picks video up in a bit. Keep an eye out for that one. And we'll see you all in the next video. Good luck.